There are a lot of types in Pokemon representing cool things like fire, dragons, and even fairies. We have a wide range of types in Pokemon, but none of them are as simple or as basic and boring as the normal type. They're just normal. I don't really know what that means, but today we'll be playing a hardcore Nuzlocke on Pokemon Platinum version with only normal type Pokemon. There's a good amount of normal types we can catch in the Sinnoh region, so let's see how this goes. Since I streamed this run live on Twitch, link in the description by the way, my chat had me pick Piplup so our rival, who they named Brazil, don't ask, would use a Turtwig. Our real starter will be a Bidoof we can catch on the next route though, which evolves into a water type Pokemon Bibarel. So our rival having the grass type starter makes him a bit harder. Although now that I read that out loud, him having Infernape, a part fighting type Pokemon, probably would have been more difficult. Speaking of which, as soon as we're able to catch a Pokemon, I caught a Bidoof and boxed our Piplup to only use as an HM friend later on, since Piplup of course is not a normal type. On the next round we get one of the most important encounters of the entire run in a Starly. Never thought I'd be this happy to catch a bird, but here we are. Staraptor is a fantastic Pokemon with Intimidate and a solid move pool, and although Bibarel might look a bit derpy because it kind of is, it's actually pretty solid as well, giving us a nice start to the run. They're both even solid enough to take on Rorik's Rock-type Pokemon Gym after a quick rival battle. Against Barry, we had an honor battle amongst our lead Starlies, which also hit his Turtwig for super effective damage, so smell you later Barry, or whatever you say. Before we can fight everyone's favorite Nepo Baby gym leader, I catch a Machop. You might ask why, since it's definitely not a normal type Pokemon, but we can trade it for this Abra in Oreburgh City, which also isn't a normal type Pokemon, but it's holding the Oran Berry, which can come in handy. I wasn't too sure if this was allowed in Nuzlocks, but my Twitch chat said that according to the official Nuzlocke handbook, which apparently exists, it's allowed. I don't know if they were trolling me with that, but we rarely ever follow the rules around here anyway, so we do it. Starly then evolved into Staravia before hitting the level cap, which is nice, but unfortunately Bidoof is one level off an evolution, which would really make this Rorik fight a lot easier, since Bibarel learns Water Gun upon evolution. The only thing we can really do against Rorik is set up defense curls with Bidoof, then go for Rock Smashes, which we got in a nearby cave, to hopefully lower Rorik's Pokemon's defense stat and make them a bit easier to knock out. The move we're using is also literally called Rock Smash, and all of Rorik's Pokemon are literally rocks, so I refuse to believe that this isn't the optimal strategy. After a couple of doesn't count clauses where RNG doesn't go in our favor, and I forgot to teach Bidoof Rock Smash for one of them, we get a few defense curls off, and since we have the simple ability on Bidoof, we only need to go for 3 defense curls to hit max defense at +6. We get a few lucky defense drops on Geodude too, and Rock Smash to take it out, and we don't even have to use our Oran Berry on the Geodude. Then on his Onix, we bait out Rorik's Potion, and get a few defense drops to KO it with over half HP remaining. Last up is his Cranidos with its big stupid head, and we get the defense drop on the second Rock Smash, which is huge, not as huge as its head though, since it meant that the third one will knock out, so we finally get our first gym badge. This takes us to Floroma Town, where we have access to honey trees and a ton of flowers apparently. There's also 2 Pokemon we can get from the honey trees that we can use in this run, so first we wait around and get a totally legit Munchlax from the first honey tree, with the second honey tree encounter coming up soon. If you can guess what it is, let me know in the comments down below, and while you're down there, consider leaving a like and subscribing for more Pokemon videos. We can take our new Munchlax to Mars, not the planet, but rather to battle Mars in the Valley Windworks. Munchlax takes a Toxic and gets flinched twice by Zubat, but at least it has leftover to heal off some of that damage. We have to switch into Bibarel to finish off Zubat, then on our Barugly, which is deceptively scary for a weird fat cat, we take a Fake Out and knock it out after a few headbutts. A bit of a close call, but at least now we can get our second honey tree encounter on the next route in Apom. It's really not too great of a Pokemon in this game, but later on when it evolves into Ambipom, it gets slightly better. Through the Eterna Forest, we can catch everyone's favorite bunny Pokemon in Buneary, another solid Pokemon to add to the team, especially when it evolves into Lopunny, but it's another friendship evolution which can take a while. Now, for Gardenia's Grass-type gym. She leads with Turtwig, so we lead with Staravia. We have 2 levels on it thanks to the level cap, as we wing attack and barely miss the one-hit KO. She goes for Reflect to boost her team's defense as we wing attack again. She heals somewhere in there, lives another wing attack, and sets up the Sunny Day for her Cherrim to come in later on. This is fine since it at least wastes a Reflect turn where we don't take any damage, and Turtwig goes down to 3 wing attacks after the Reflect. With the Sun Shiny, she sends out Cherrim, which transforms into the cooler Cherrim and goes for Safeguard. It tanks a wing attack, but Reflex wears off the next turn as we eat up a Magical Leaf and narrowly miss the KO yet again. Gardenia uses another potion, but now that the sunlight is gone, Charon returns to its normal form and leech seeds us, which could spell trouble. We're still able to take it out, then in comes her ace Roserade. Magical Leaf does a decent amount of damage to activate our Oranberry, and you guessed it, she lives again with 2 HP. All of her Pokemon are barely living. She heals some HP back from Leech Seed and her Citrus Berry, but thanks to our Oranberry, we live a hit from Roserade and KO it on the following turn. That battle was way too close for comfort considering our type advantage with Staravia, but trust me, we have a few more close calls coming up in battles that you're gonna want to see. Next up, we rescue the Bike Man from this silly guy with the skunk and get a Togepi egg from Cynthia before cruising down the cycling road. We take advantage of the Amity Square in Hearthome City to boost friendship, since quite a few of our Pokemon are friendship evolutions. We also have to prepare for Fantina's Ghost-type gym, which should be interesting since both of our Pokemon stab moves just don't hit each other. Before actually battling Fantina though, I decide to hatch Togepi and evolve as many of the friendship evolutions as we can before fighting Fantina, because they make a huge difference, especially at this point in the game. This gives us Snorlax too, which is key for the gym, although the only good move it has against her team is Lick. We leave with Staravia against Fantina though on her Duskull to intimidate it, and also give Staravia the Frost Berry so we don't get burned from Will-O-Wisp, and we also gave Staravia Pluck to pluck her Miss Magius' Citrus Berry, and you guys know we love the move Pluck around here. We also spam some double teams on Duskull with Staravia to try and cheese out a win. Duskull goes for Future Sight here and lands a Will-O-Wisp even though we had 2 double teams up, but at least our Frost Berry heals it. I then decide to go for Pluck, which is a 2-hit KO on Duskull, and we take it out without losing any HP. Haunter then lands Confuse Ray as we hit ourselves. I don't know why her Pokemon keep hitting these lower accuracy moves through our double teams. On the following turn, we hit ourselves a second time and we take a Sucker Punch and then hit ourselves a third time to go down to only 3 HP remaining. You just cannot make this up. I'm forced to switch into Snorlax here, which gets put to sleep and then confused as we trade a few turns and go for a Lick once we finally wake up to take out the Haunter. On Miss Magius, we get lucky and paralyzed from the first Lick we go for, and then go back and forth for about 10 turns before finally knocking it out for our 3rd gym badge. Even though we got out unscathed, I'm still amazed at how lucky her Haunter and her Duskull got on us after all those double teams. We at least have a full team of 6 consisting of good Pokemon and Apom. As we exit Hearthome, we have another rival fight which starts off with another Staravia honor battle. We only have 1 level on Barry Staravia this time, and he goes for double team, but we still land a few plucks and get put to low HP from Endeavor. For Buizel, it doesn't have Aqua Jet yet, which I was scared of, but I go into Barrel anyway since it can take a hit nicely and KO Buizel with a few headbutts. Then on Grotle, I go into Togetic and yawn it, and then go into Staravia and spam some double teams and then KO it with Pluck. Probably not the best strat, but hey, it worked out. Then on Ponyta, Snorlax, aka Fatty McFatFat, takes it out. Chat named all my Pokemon this run, so if you want a chance to name my Pokemon, check out my Twitch channel in the description and maybe you'll get a nickname in the next Nuzlocke video. The next round gives us a new encounter too in Chansey, which we will keep in the PC for now. Then in Veilstone City we get a gift Porygon, a Pokemon that I was really looking forward to using in this run. It gets access to a lot of cool TMs, which we can conveniently get in the nearby game corner, which includes Thunderbolt, and Flamethrower, and they also even have return in stock for our other team members. Veilstone also offers one of the hardest challenges in this whole run in Maylene, the Fighting Type Specialist Gym Leader. On paper, she should completely destroy our normal type only team, with the only thing that might live a hit being Staravia and Togekiss as they're not weak to fighting, they're only neutral to fighting, but her Meditite and her Machoke have Rock Tomb, which would hit them for super effective damage anyway. This is where our new agent comes in, Girafarig, aka 007. We catch one just south of Veilstone and has psychic moves to make Maylene's gym a lot more bearable since we have no time to die. Lopunny also learned Jump Kick here, which is decent, and has a good speed stat which can come in handy against Lucario if we really need a super effective move against it. Maylene leads with Meditite, so I lead with Staravia just to intimidate it before going into Girafarig. We're holding the Metronome item, so our moves do more damage if we keep going for the same move, and since we're just spamming Psychic, that should work out nicely. I say should until Lucario comes in and bops Girafarig really hard, forcing us to pivot to Staravia for the Intimidate, then going into Togekiss to slowly chip away at Lucario. We get some good damage off, but end up getting paralyzed, and with 1 HP remaining, we go into Lopunny to Jump Kick it, and hopefully not miss the Jump Kick. I even gave Lopunny the Zoom Lens or the Scope Lens, whichever one boosts accuracy, to make Jump Kick like 97% accurate. We had enough bad luck against Fantina in the last gym fight to miss now, and thankfully Lopunny takes a hit from Lucario and lands the Jump Kick for the knockout. I really didn't even think Lopunny would take a hit, but I trusted chat on that one and they were right. Then on Machoke, we aren't out of the woods just yet. We go to Staravia to intimidate it, and then take a hit from it after hammering away with some plucks. I don't know why she didn't Rock Tomb, and if she did, Staravia might have fallen there. As we head into PaPaSea City, Staravia evolves into Staraptor just in time for another fight against Barry. Barry leads with Staraptor, of course, for yet another honor battle and goes for double team, but we still land a fly as he endeavors, causing our HP to go all the way down to match Staravia's. We then miss our quick attack from his double team and have to go into Snorlax to finish it off, so I guess we lost that honor battle technically, but we're like 3-1 against him now, so it's fine. Then go into Barrel on his Ponyta. Girafarig is then able to handle the rest of Barry's Intrepid team, making it surprisingly our best Pokemon at this stretch of the game, especially against the Galactic Grunts and their annoying Zubats. Then finally, for Crasher Wake. After a few false starts or didn't count clauses, we lead with Porygon on his Gyarados. The Intimidate even raises our special attack, making Thunderbolt an easy knockout if it wasn't a one-hit KO before. He then goes right into Floatzel as we're at about half health. We can still take a hit, which activates our Citrus Berry, and then we KO on the next turn. I was scared that he would have Pursuit and go for Pursuit because it would potentially KO us here if we had switched, but at least he didn't. On Quagsire, we go into Girafarig to KO with the Psychic since nothing on our team gets a Grass type move, which is annoying. So far so good at roughly the halfway point of the game, with no oofs yet, but there's still a lot of Pokemon to be played. We also catch this Lickitung on a previous round that I didn't even realize we could catch until now, further bolstering our army of normal type Pokemon in the PC, with about 6 Pokemon in reserve now. Once in Kanalave City, we have yet another fight against everyone's favorite rival who leads with Staraptor. Not sure why nearly every rival just leads with their bird, but it means we have yet another honor battle which we win, again, then go into Barrel on his Rapidash. It's unable to get the KO with Surf and takes a lot of damage from Rapidash. We go to Snorlax to finish it off. Then on Heracross, I go into Girafarig thinking it can take one hit, especially if it's a fighting type move, but it could not take a hit as Barry did over half damage to us. I thought it would definitely go for a fighting type move on the following turn to KO us since the first one did so much damage, and it also doesn't have access to a bug move, but since we have Togekiss in the PC right now and Staraptor is so low, we have no safe switch-ins. Girafarig and Heracross both happen to have 85 base speed though, and they're at the same exact level, and I'm pretty sure our Girafarig was a jolly nature, so it might come down to the draw of who is faster, assuming Psychic KOs here. We win the draw and go for Psychic, which wasn't even close to a knockout though, as Girafarig goes down to a Night Slash for our first oof of the run. I don't know why I didn't even consider that Heracross could go for Night Slash, but it did. While it was short-lived, 007 the Girafarig was really fun to use, as it was so unexpected. Random Pokemon surprising me is one of my favorite things about these type of runs, but since Staraptor is faster, it can take out Heracross and Torterra, allowing us to lay our trusty Girafarig to rest. I don't really have a Nuzlocke Hall of Fame or anything like that since I'm just now getting back into Nuzlocks after not doing one for so long, but if we did, 007 the Girafarig would definitely be in it. We can at least let our anger out on Byron and his Steel-type foes. He leads with Magneton, so we lead with Lopunny to high jump kick it. This does way less damage than I thought, then Lopunny goes down to a Flash Cannon which did way more damage than I thought. That's 2 losses in back-to-back key fights, but at least Staraptor has close combat to knock it out, and then U-turn to escape on Bastiodon to also break it sturdy and go into Snorlax. A few Rock Smashes take it out after some fortunate defense drops, then we just do the same thing on Steelix to get our 6th gym badge. After the gym, we replace Lopunny with the Licky we have since we can evolve it now, and clear out the 2 easy lakes with haste to make it up north to Snow Point City, home of the Ice-type gym leader I can't seem to remember the name of. This one can be a real doozy since she sets up Hail and has Frostlass which boosts evasion in the Hail, then has Double Team to make it even more annoying. Whoever at Game Freak decided to give Frostlass this moveset, shame on you. At least Snorlax has Brick Break now to hit Sneasel for 400% damage, and also Flamethrower for her Abomasnow, which is also 400% super effective. Abomasnow even took some recoil damage from Woodhammer to help out with our damage output, making Snorlax our new MVP since losing our beloved Giraffe. She then goes into Frostlass and uses Blizzard as we miss a Flamethrower. We're forced to switch, although whatever comes in will probably take a Blizzard, which sounds really painful. I figure our recently evolved Licky can take a hit, but instead it just falls to a critical hit, so we're forced to yawn it to sleep with Barrel and slowly chip away at Frostlass with Surfs. We shuffle our Pokemon around here a bit too, but then our Frostlass wakes up, does a lot of damage with Blizzard to Porygon, so we have to switch again. Our team is pretty weak at this point and not much can take a Blizzard, so I risk going to Barrel to also try to go for Yawn, but instead Blizzard combined with hail damage is just too much for Barrel. It was at least able to get a yawn off and waste all of her Blizzard PP, so go into Staraptor to KO it with Fly. In hindsight, that was super risky since we could have just missed, and we probably could have played it a bit safer earlier, but oh well, you live and you learn. I'm not trying to be the greatest nuzlocker ever, I'm just trying to make videos for you guys to enjoy, and hopefully I'm doing a good job at least that. She also had a Piloswine too, but that wasn't really much of a problem, so 7 badges now and a lot of oofs later. Our team is quite literally a shell of its former self with only 3 Pokemon remaining, but we can at least get the Moonstone for a Clefairy we caught earlier to evolve into Clefable, and the Shiny Stone to evolve Togetic into Togekiss, which has been in the PC for the last couple of gyms. We add Chansey to the mix as well, which evolves into Blissey while leveling up, just in time to fight Cyrus in the Team Galactic headquarters. Snorlax can easily take out Cyrus's lead Sneasel with Brick Break, but it ends up taking a Screech to lower our defense. Then on a Crobat, Snorlax slowly takes it out with returns, but we go to below half health, forcing us to go to Staraptor to Intimidate and get some fly damage off. We later switch to Togekiss to take some hits and finish it off with Flamethrower. Now we have to chase Cyrus into the literal depths of hell where the Pokemon Devils live to battle him again. What can possibly go wrong? He somehow has more Pokemon at a higher level than before now, starting with his lead Houndoom. Snorlax is able to take out Houndoom after a few returns, then on Gyarados we stay in and return once more before going to Staraptor to Intimidate it, and then into Clefable to KO it with Thunderbolt. Gotta love these Gen 1 normal types having access to a ton of random special moves like that. On Honchkrow, we pivot to Staraptor to Intimidate again, then U-turn into Porygon and Ice Beam for the knockout. On Weavile, we have to go into Blissey, which is a bit risky since everything else is at pretty low health, but it ends up falling to a Night Slash. We barely use Blissey, so I'm not too fussed about it, but with 6 oofs in the run, we're running low on team options. The only Pokemon we can still get that I haven't caught yet is Hoothoot, and Hoothoot isn't very good. At least Snorlax can knock out Weavile with Brick Break, then on Crobat we Intimidate it and go into Togekiss to knock it out with Psychic. The first one doesn't KO, but it lowers Crobat's special defense, forcing Cyrus to heal, just for our second Psychic to knock it out. I'm also now just realizing that Ambipom died too somewhere in there, but I barely even remember using it, and I don't remember how, because I think we only used it in one key fight, like ever. Now for Sunyshore City, we have one last gym battle against Volcaner and his electric type pocket monsters. All of his Pokemon are weak to ground, so Snorlax with Earthquake is great here, assuming we don't get hit with any full paralysis. It's enough to KO his lead Jolteon and his Raichu. Then on Electar we go to Clefable to set up with Cosmic Powers while healing with Moonlight. This combined with Leftovers, since Snorlax had the Cherry Berry to help against Thunder Waves earlier in the battle, works great. We tank hits really well and do enough damage with Psychics to get our final gym badge, allowing us to go to the Pokemon League. Since we've been stuck with this Porygon for so long now, that has only gotten worse the later we progress in the game, I decided to get my other DS out and trade it over there, then back to this copy of Platinum for Porygon Z, which will be great for the Elite Four. Definitely a huge upgrade. Get it? Okay, I'll stop. At this point, Chad also reminded me that we could catch a Weasel to trade for a Chatot, which I totally forgot we could do in this game. And although Chatot's not the best Pokemon, we have to get it to add it to the team to round out our party of 6, and then head in to fight Barry. We at least get to use our new upgrade against Barry before heading into the Elite Four. We lead with it on his lead Staraptor and get the special attack boost from our download ability to knock out with Discharge. He had close combat on Staraptor too, and if it managed to live a hit from Porygon or outspeed us, that could have been really bad. On Heracross, we go into Staraptor to Intimidate, take a close combat and knock it out with Fly. Barry then goes into Floatzel, so we go into Porygon Z to take an Ice Fang and get the special attack boost again. We tank a Brick Break, then knock it out with Discharge on the next turn. For Torterra, we go to Staraptor to Intimidate and dodge an Earthquake, however it lives a Fly and hits us with a Crunch, but goes down to a Quick Attack. For Rapidash, we U-turn to Chatot and take a Fire Blast, then switch into Clefable to take a hit and set up some Cosmic Powers to then knock out with Psychic. We end up getting paralyzed as Barry sends out his Snorlax, so we go into our Snorlax as well to try to have an honor battle, but a critical hit forces us to switch to Staraptor to Intimidate again, then into Togekiss to yawn it to sleep, and hopefully go for a Wish to heal off some damage for Snorlax, but then Barry's Snorlax gets another critical hit knocking out Togekiss. Staraptor is able to finish off the fight though as we lay our Togekiss to rest and catch a Hoothoot to replace it, since aside from this Eevee we've had in the box for a while, Hoothoot and Noctowl are the only other Pokemon we can use that aren't dead yet. Noctowl at least has Reflect and Air Slash, so it isn't terrible, but just overall worse than Togekiss. Now that we're in the Elite Four, we decide to have no more didn't count clauses, aside from one where I forgot to teach Snorlax a move heading into the battle. But our plan here for Aaron is to lead Clefable, give Clefable leftovers, and set up Conks of Powers to take hits and then go for flamethrowers on his bug-type foes. Aaron's Yanmega immediately U-turns to Heracross though, a fighting-type Pokemon. We go into Staraptor for the Intimidate, take a hit, and then knock it out with Fly. When Drapion comes in, I was pretty sure we'd outspeed, so I just go for U-turn, but Drapion is faster and hits us with a Cross Poison. It doesn't knock us out at least, but we get to go into Snorlax to Earthquake Drapion, as Cross Poison does minimal damage on the following turn, and Drapion barely lives in Earthquake. It does activate his Citrus Berry though, and then just goes down on the following turn. For Aaron Caesar, we go into Chatot to try to sing it to sleep. As Caesar is sleeping, we go into Clefable to try to flamethrower it, but Caesar just wakes up first turn. We take a decent chunk of damage from Caesar here, but can most likely live a second hit, so I stay into Flamethrower just for Caesar to go to Night Slash for some reason and do less damage than the X-Scissor. On Vespiquen, we go into Noctowl, take an attack order, then go into Snorlax, predicting Aaron to go for Power Gem so we can Toxic the Vespiquen. He goes for a Defend order instead, which is fine because it means we take no damage and we still land the Toxic, go for a return for some damage, then go into Porygon Z to finish it off with a couple of Ice Beams. On Yanmega, we go to Noctowl, take a hit, Roost to heal some damage off as he double teams, and then on the next turn we land our Air Slash and knock out Yanmega, making it out of Aaron's room. This fight took over 30 minutes. Now for Bertha, we have a real change of pace. We lead Porygon Z, Nasty Plot twice, Tri-Attack Wishcash for the knockout, although it does set up the Sandstorm. Then the rest of her team just goes down to a single Ice Beam. Would be nice if all battles can go like that, but now we have to fight Flint's Fire-type team. He leads with Houndoom and Sunny Days as we go into Snorlax and barely miss the knockout with Earthquake. I am noticing a common theme in this run where we narrowly miss out on KOs by at most 10 damage, and it's quite frustrating. He heals, lives another Earthquake, flamethrowers us in the sun, but at least goes down on the following turn. When Infernape comes in, we have to intimidate it with Staraptor. However, Infernape has Thunder Punch, which is quite scary, and Staraptor still had to switch into a sun-boosted Flare Blitz, which we somehow lived. I expected Mach Punch here instead because it's a fighting type move for Snorlax, but I guess Flare Blitz technically would do more damage, that's how the AI thinks, although the AI has been going for weird moves in this Elite Four run. We have to go into Clefable next, take another Flare Blitz that does about half damage to it. The Sunlight then fades on the next turn, allowing us to knock it out with Psychic from Clefable after taking a second hit that does less damage with the sun being gone. In hindsight, we probably should have just healed with Moonlight on Clefable first, but at least we still got rid of his only fighting type this way. When he sends out his Flareon, we go into Noctowl to take a quick attack and then go for Roost. We then set up Reflect for his Giga Impacts, which can do a lot of damage. The Flareon then goes for Overheat, and it looks like another Overheat might knock us out even with the special attack drop. We go into Snorlax, which should take hits fairly easily from Flareon with the Reflect up and Flareon having -2 special attack, but instead it goes for another Overheat, which gets a critical hit, knocking Snorlax all the way down to the red HP range. At this point, there's not much we can do. Flareon is at least -4 special attack and the Reflect is up for a potential Giga Impact, so I just go right into Porygon next and take another Overheat that doesn't do much damage. I set up a single Nasty Plot because I figured this is our only chance to win, as the Flareon goes for Will-O-Wisp and lands it, but we go for a Tri-Attack to knock out Flareon. In comes Rapidash next, which should be faster than Porygon Z, and going into this fight I kind of dismissed Rapidash as being much of a threat because I was so much more concerned with his Infernape. We don't really have a safe switch in anymore since all of our Pokemon are so low, so we have to stay in and just hope that Porygon Z either outspeeds or somehow takes a hit. Neither of those happen though, as he Flare Blitz and takes out our Porygon Z. We're so desperate now that we have to go into Chatot and hopefully get a Sing Off, but we're not even faster and Chatot just goes down. Our team then just slowly goes down one by one to this Rapidash because everyone else was at such a low HP range, ending our Pokemon Platinum Hardcore Nuzlocke with only normal types at Flint. We still got pretty far, and although we were unable to do it, I think it's definitely possible if you play less recklessly than I did. I definitely plan on doing more Hardcore Nuzlocks again in the future, which will mostly be streamed on Twitch, link in the description. And in case you miss any of the live streams, I also have a channel called PaPaSea Extra where all of the stream highlights are uploaded to, which is also linked in the description. Thanks for watching, have a great rest of your day, and bye bye.